Hits 96, we're Chattanooga's #1 hit music station. My name is Gino D, and joining me right now via the phone line, a very funny comedian. In fact, you're going to be able to catch him live this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night at the Comedy Catch right here in Chattanooga. And you can also catch his half-hour stand-up special that's featured in Season 3 of the Standups, streaming now on Netflix. I would like to welcome Dusty Slay to the show. Dusty, thanks for joining me.
All right, we're having a good time. I'm happy to be here.
We absolutely are having a good time. And I have to say, since I've seen your stand-up special, I love saying to everyone we're having a good time. I've borrowed it from you for sure.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I love that. If more people are out here saying we're having a good time, I think that's a good thing.
Yes. In fact, a lot of my friends are always just saying, thank you for reassuring that we're having a good time, because I wasn't quite sure at times.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly right. Your friends get it,
Yeah, exactly. It's always nice to have that reassurance. That's pretty cool. And, of course, people are knowing about you not only because of your tour, but because of your Netflix special, and that's where I learned of you. How does that feel as a comedian to be able to say that you now have a special on Netflix? Because nowadays, that's kind of a sign of the times that things are going in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, that's the HBO special of
Right.
our day. It's like my comedy's not changed, but that it's the Netflix seal of approval.
Yes.
And, it feels good. I mean, it feels like it's one of those things where it's like, the first time I got to do late night, I felt like I had hit that sort of thing. And then the first time I got to do the Tonight Show, felt like that too. And then to get invited back to the Tonight Show, it's just, all of these things are nice little benchmarks that help you feel good about what you're doing. And the Netflix, to me, that's as high as you can go right now.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I think that is the cream of the crop, as they like to say, and it's definitely a great way to get it out there as much as possible to the masses. So congratulations on that. And again, it's Season 3 for those that are listening. It's the stand-ups, and I think that is a great way to introduce a lot of people to the comedy. And how does the Netflix thing work now? If that does very well, could there possibly be a Dusty Slay full hour feature going on in the future? Is that kind of how they play it?
Well, that's the idea. I mean, they don't really tell you any numbers, so I have no idea. But just based on how things have gone, I mean, I would sell out here and there before, but now I'm selling out multiple shows a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently it's doing well.
Good. Well, that's good to hear, and I'll keep our fingers crossed over here for you, because we'd love to see you do a full hour special, a Dusty Slay special. I think you could get it. I think you could get it done.
Well, I'm ready. I mean, I got basically, if you come to see my show, it's almost a full new hour. It's because it's only a half hour on Netflix, and then I do an hour every show on stage.
Nice.
And it's I don't once in a while I'll repeat a joke just for fun because I like telling the joke, but I have more than an hour that sometimes I'll do, and none of it is from Netflix.
Excellent. Oh, okay, so it's all fresh material for those that want to see the fresh stuff, which is really good to hear. And that's what's going to happen, again, this coming weekend, live at the Comedy Catch, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And people can purchase tickets to the show. They're still available at thecomedycatch.com. In fact, we're going to give away a pair later on in the show. But before we get into a little bit more of that and what's going on, Dusty, I thought we'd kind of start off in the beginning. How does someone get into comedy? Is this something that you always had a dream for? Did you kind of fall into it? I know different people have different approaches to the world of comedy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how people would get into it. I don't know what makes someone say, I want to do comedy. I mean, for me, I grew up in Alabama. I grew up in a trailer park. I did about 2 days in community college, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I ended up being a pesticide salesman somehow. I worked my way, up in a job, and it was a good job, but it wasn't really the job for me. And then I started messing around with some comedy, improv, and then I got into stand-up, and then, I was just doing comedy and drinking and partying, and it was just a wild time. And then I quit drinking. And then I actually got really good at comedy. It was amazing how that happened. I thought all this time I was funnier when I was drunk. And then when I quit drinking, I was like, oh, I can actually do this pretty well sober. And, I just kept doing it and just kind of learning this and that here and there and going, all right, this is how you make money. I had no idea. I lived in Charleston, South Carolina. We had no comedy clubs. I did comedy for 6 years and never did a comedy club. I just was doing bars and theaters and stuff like that, and I had no idea how you would even make money doing comedy. And eventually, I just worked my way around in there. Just ask the right questions, be polite, be patient, and persistent. That's what I always say. Those are my 3 Ps. And you just keep doing them. And then eventually, I don't know, things just started working out. I mean, I never moved to New York City. I live in Nashville.
Right.
I don't know of anyone that lives in a city like Nashville that started in Nashville that has gone on to do late nights and a Netflix. But I just worked it. I got out here and I did the kind of comedy that people relate to, and I don't offend people, and I don't talk politics, and everybody that comes to my show can have a good time.
Yes. Oh, good times will be had by all. And yes, that's a very good point. When it comes to your comedy, you can pretty much go across any type of audience. I know that I've heard in certain interviews that you've done in certain things, performances. I mean, you've performed at the Grand Ole Opry. You've performed in front of office buildings. I mean, anybody that enjoys any type of comedy can go to a Dusty Slay show and as you say, have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, once in a while I'll find someone that doesn't like my comedy, and I don't know what's wrong with them, but they're out there.
Yeah, so
for
of
the
course.
most part, it's not going to be for everyone, but it's for most people.
No, and I think Chattanooga will love you, and I know you've been here before, so I can only assume the Chattanooga crowd gets right in on the Dusty Slay.
Yeah, I've been to Chattanooga many times. I mean, I've sold out a couple of shows in Chattanooga before I even had Netflix. So I'm hoping people really turn up this time, but I always have a good time. I mean, I've done shows in Chattanooga for not that many people and had a good time. Yeah. But I've been coming here for years, so I'm really looking forward to being back. I don't think I got to come at all last year. Mm-hmm. That's the first year I missed in a while. So I'm excited to be back.
Well, we're happy to have you. And again, that's going to be at the Comedy Catch this weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, thecomedycatch.com for all of those details. I know that you're always touring. You're always on the road. You love being on the road. You love going to hotels and everything. And when people watch your special and they can get all into that. Do you have a favorite, not a favorite city per se, but a favorite surprise city? In all of your travels, was there ever a city that kind of you liked way more than you thought you would, or you enjoyed yourself way more than you thought?
Well, I feel like that's about all the cities. I grew up in a real small town, and I felt like I never left the South until I was like 26, and I just felt like anything outside of the South was like all cities, and that it was all crime. And then as I travel around, I see these places, and I'm like, oh, these are all really great places, and so many places that I didn't know anything about. I mean, Cleveland, Ohio, was one that really surprised me. It was still a bit scary for me, but the architecture of the city was really great, and the food was really great, and I don't know. I think I'm constantly surprised by the cities that I go to. I just got back from L.A., and I always say I hate going to L.A., but every time I'm there, I'm like, you know what? This is actually really fun. Like inside the city, it's really great. Traffic is terrible, so getting into the city, getting out of the city, horrible. But I don't know. I got to do a show at the Hollywood Improv with David Spade this past weekend, and I grew up loving Tommy Boy and Saturday Night Live, and it's just a lot of fun.
Very cool.
I don't know if that answers the question, but
no, you get it.
I can't really narrow it down to a city because sometimes people will tell me that a city's really great, and I go and I'm like, nah, it's okay. But then other times people are like, oh, you're going to hate that place, and I go and I'm like, this was actually pretty fun. So
cool. So it's the surprises around every corner.
Yeah, it's just we have such a fun country where it's like, man, you just go from state to state, and like so many things are different in different states. I mean, I think Phoenix, Arizona, the first time I ever went there was the biggest surprise to me. I had no idea what to expect. I ran out of I worked my way out there doing shows, and I ran out of CDs, so I didn't have anything to sell. So I started burning CDs on my old laptop.
Wow.
And I put a little black and white picture that I had printed at Kinko's in a sleeve. And I had such great shows in Phoenix that people were buying these homemade CDs like left and right. The last night I found some of the good CDs that I had, and people chose the homemade CDs over the good ones that I had. And I don't know. I just love that city. I've had a great time in Phoenix since then. I mean, I've been there when it's 120, and that's not great.
No,
but
no. The people there, though, they're used to that. That's like a cool breeze for them.
I know. I know.
Yeah, Dusty, you have 2 comedy albums out, Son of a Ditch and Making That Fudge, that people can for sure check out. And, of course, again, seeing you live, obviously, I can only assume that you recommend that just as much.
Yeah, I mean, live comedy is the best. I mean, there's so many different things that I like better on TV than live. I like football on TV more than I like to be at a game. And sometimes music, to me, I'm not a big concert guy, but live comedy is the best. It's always the best live.
I agree. I completely agree. And you'll be at the Comedy Catch Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, thecomedycatch.com. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll be giving away some passes to the late show on Friday so people can come out and see you. So if you are listening, keep listening for the details on that. You mentioned being on the late night talk shows. We talked about that a little bit. The Tonight Show, kind of Netflix is the new version of that, but you still have some great appearances with Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, the list goes on. I know you've done numerous contests and numerous specials and festivals and you name it. What is that experience like, though, behind the scenes? Is that a little more nerve-wracking than, say, just getting on stage at a club?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been fortunate enough to do the Tonight Show 3 times now, and I feel like each time I'm less nervous than the time before. But the first time I did the Tonight Show, I was certain that the booker was regretting booking me because I looked so nervous. I think he thought, oh, no. But then that was the best one of the 3, I think. I mean,
Nice.
I like all 3 of them, but that was the best one. But it's just that pressure. I mean, in a way, that pressure is good because It means you care about it. It means you're taking it seriously. And I'm doing the Tonight Show. I'm like, everybody that I've ever known has the opportunity to see my comedy now. I can't mess this up.
It's a good energy. It's a good nervous energy.
Yeah, and it's like, if I'm doing an hour, I can mess up and recover and make fun of myself about messing up and then just move on. Like I'll say I'm doing an hour, but if I do an hour and 10, nobody's going to be upset with me. It's not a big deal. But on the Tonight Show, you get 5 minutes. You don't go over the 5. You don't go under the 5. That's what you get. So if you mess up a joke, you just messed up a joke. There's no recovery time.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it, actually, because you really want to get your best of your best out there because that's your shot. That's the time to go.
Yeah. I mean, and it's wild. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel Live was my first one that I ever did, and I had no idea what I was walking into. I had no idea what to expect, and I don't feel like it was my best, but I do think those are some of my best jokes. Mm-hmm. So I included all the jokes that I put on Jimmy Kimmel on the Netflix because I'm like, they deserve a better look than that. People need to, need to see these jokes at their best because they're good jokes.
Absolutely. And people can check that out. Season 3 of the Stand-Ups, again, streaming on Netflix. I can't say that enough. I want people to go and check that out, and hopefully it can lead to bigger and better things for you. One final question, Dusty, and again, thank you so much for the time. We can't wait to see you this weekend at the Comedy Catch. When it comes to current projects, I know you're constantly on tour. We mentioned that, but you also have a YouTube channel. I know that you've done some podcasting here and there. Any current projects we should be aware of?
Well, I got I have my podcast called the We're Having a Good Time podcast that I do weekly. Mm-hmm. And, I'm about to be joining a different one. I can't say what it is, but be on the lookout for that. I'm about to join a different podcast.
Nice.
I got some things I'm working on, hopefully some TV things, but they're very in the works kind of things. I had sold a show to ABC that never happened. I did sell a script, so that happened, and then I sold an animated show to Hulu, and that didn't pan out. But that seems to be the way it goes. You just try until something sticks. But I like stand-up the best, so that's what I'm into. That's what I'm always focusing on. And I'm hoping to get that hour special from Netflix. And since you plugged the half hour so many times, and I appreciate it, I want people to know that if you do go, like say you're like, hear this interview, you go watch it tonight, it is going to be all different jokes at the show. So Don't worry about that.
Right. No, absolutely. We're going to get the fresh stuff as well, and that will be at the Comedy Catch Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. You can get the details on that at thecomedycatch.com, and you can always go to dustyslay.com as well, your personal website, for more info on everything that you do, I'm sure.
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff out there, so you can go check things there. I got a little page with a bunch of icons where I've done different things, and you just click on the icon, and it will take you to that video.
Perfect.
So that's pretty fun.
Nice and easy. We like that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for the time, Dusty. Again, that's Dusty Slay. You're going to see him at the Comedy Catch this coming weekend. Check out the Netflix special, The Standups. And we wish you the best of luck in everything that you're doing, Dusty. And make sure you keep us posted. And when next time you come back around, because you know you always do, make sure that you come by and visit with us at Hits 96.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it.